Video title. After dropping my daughter at the subway station, our groundskeeper called. Come home now. I remember the exact moment my life split in two. It wasn't during the phone call. It wasn't when my hands started shaking on the steering wheel. It was earlier, when I kissed my daughter's forehead and watched her disappear down the subway stairs, thinking I was doing everything right. I didn't know that was the last moment of normal. The morning had been ordinary in the most comforting way. Gray sky, light drizzle, the kind of weather that presses memories closer together. My daughter, Lena, sat in the passenger seat scrolling through her phone, earbuds dangling, humming softly to herself. She was 16, half child, half stranger, and lately, those car rides were the only times she talked to me without walls up. You don't have to wait, she said, glancing at the station entrance. I know, I replied. But I will, she smiled, that small smile that still made me feel like I was doing something right as a parent. We hugged quickly, teenagers hate lingering affection, and she stepped out, pulling her hood over her head. I watched her until the crowd swallowed her whole. Only then did I pull away from the curb. I should have gone straight home. But I didn't. I drove aimlessly for a few minutes, letting the radio fill the silence. The house had felt too quiet lately. Ever since my wife passed 2 years ago, silence had become something alive, something that followed me from room to room. That's when we hired him. Rashid, our groundskeeper. He'd been with us for almost a year. Quiet, reliable, the kind of man who kept his eyes down and his promises up. He took care of the garden my wife loved, trimming roses exactly the way she used to. Sometimes I caught myself watching him work from the window, thinking how grateful I was for the normalcy he brought. He was there when we needed stability. And I trusted him. That trust mattered more than I realized. When my phone rang, I almost ignored it. Unknown number, probably spam, but something, call it instinct, call it guilt, made me answer. Hello, there was breathing on the other end. Heavy, uneven. Then Rashid's voice. Sir, you need to come home. Now. The word now wasn't urgent. It was frightened. I tightened my grip on the steering wheel. Rashid, what's wrong? Silence. Then, quieter, like he was afraid someone might hear him. I can't explain on the phone. Please, just come. The line went dead. For a moment, the world shrank to the hum of the engine and the rain tapping against the windshield. I checked the time. Lena would be underground for at least 15 minutes. No signal, no way to reach her. 1,000 thoughts collided in my head. Break in, fire. Maybe Rashid had hurt himself. Maybe it was nothing, but my chest felt tight in a way I couldn't explain. I turned the car around. The drive home felt longer than it ever had. Every red light felt personal. My mind kept replaying Rashid's tone, not panicked, not dramatic, just wrong. Like a man standing at the edge of something he didn't understand. Our house came into view, sitting quietly at the end of the cul-de-sac. Nothing looked out of place. No smoke, no broken windows. The garden was immaculate, as always. Too immaculate. I parked and stepped out, suddenly aware of how loud the door sounded when I closed it. The front door was unlocked. Rashid never left it unlocked. Rashid, I called. No answer. Inside, the house smelled different. Not bad, just unfamiliar. Like someone else's soap, someone else's presence layered over ours. My shoes echoed on the hardwood floor as I moved deeper inside. That's when I noticed it. The family photo frame on the console table had been turned face down. My heart skipped. Rashid never touched our things. He was careful, almost overly respectful. He used to apologize for stepping inside the house to use the bathroom. I picked the frame up. The glass was warm. Rashid, I called again, louder this time. From the back of the house, I heard movement. Footsteps. Slow. He appeared in the hallway, hands clenched, eyes darting past me toward the front door. Sir, he said again, swallowing hard. I'm glad you're here. What happened? I asked. Are you okay? He nodded too quickly. Yes. I mean, no, I don't know. That was when I saw it. A faint tremor in his hands. A thin line of sweat at his temple, even though the house was cool. Did someone come here? I asked. He hesitated. Just a second too long. Someone, related to you, he said carefully. I think. My stomach dropped. What do you mean related? He opened his mouth, closed it again. I shouldn't say it like this. But, things aren't what you think. I felt irritation creep in, sharp and defensive. Rashid, you called me home. If something's wrong, you need to tell me. He finally met my eyes. And in them, I saw something I'd never seen before. Fear, for me. There are things in this house, he said slowly, that you don't know about. I found them by accident. I swear I wasn't snooping. What things? My voice came out hoarse. Instead of answering, he stepped aside and gestured toward the staircase. Toward the upper floor, toward Lena's room. My pulse roared in my ears. She's not home, I said quickly. I dropped her at the subway. Rashid's face went pale. You dropped her off? He asked. Alone? Yes. Why? He looked past me again, toward the front door, then back upstairs. Then we need to hurry. Before she comes back. A cold wave washed over me. Rashid, I said, barely keeping my voice steady, tell me what's going on. Right now. He took a step closer, lowering his voice to a whisper. I think, he said, someone you trust has been preparing for something. Something involving your daughter. The words didn't make sense. They couldn't. I laughed once, short, hollow. That's not possible, I said. There's no one else. It's just us. Rashid shook his head slowly. No, sir, he said. It hasn't been just you for a long time. Upstairs, a floorboard creaked. We both froze. I stared at the staircase, my heart pounding so hard it felt like it might crack my ribs. Because Lena wasn't supposed to be home. And whatever Rashid had found was already closer than I realized. Video title. After dropping my daughter at the subway station, our groundskeeper called, "Come home now." The sound came again, a soft creak, deliberate this time. Rashid and I stood frozen at the base of the stairs, listening as if the house itself were breathing. My mind raced through explanations. Lena forgot something, a neighbor, the wind, but none of them settled the fear tightening in my chest. She's not supposed to be here, I whispered. Rashid nodded, his jaw tight. That's what I was trying to tell you. I took the first step up before I could stop myself. Rashid reached out, grabbing my arm, not forcefully, just enough to ground me. Sir, he said quietly, please. Let me show you something first. I wanted to pull away, to confront whoever, or whatever, was upstairs. But something in his eyes stopped me. Not panic, not drama, just regret, like he wished he'd never seen what he'd seen. He led me not upstairs, but down the hallway to my study. The door was closed. I never closed it. Rashid pushed it open slowly. Inside, everything looked normal at first glance. Desk, shelves, the old leather chair I never used anymore. Then he walked to the bookshelf and slid one row aside. Behind it was a narrow wall panel. My stomach dropped. I found this last week, he said softly. I was fixing a loose board. I swear, I didn't mean to. He pulled the panel open. Inside were folders, neatly labeled, dates, names, my name, Lena's name. I picked one up with trembling hands. Inside were printed photos, school schedules, notes written in handwriting I didn't recognize. Routine confirmed, emotional distance increasing, father unaware. I felt dizzy. This isn't real, I murmured. Someone's playing a sick joke. Rashid shook his head. I thought the same. Until today. What changed today? I asked. He hesitated again, then reached into his pocket and pulled out his phone. He opened a recording. A voice filled the room. A familiar voice. Calm, measured, warm in a way that now felt rehearsed. My sister's voice. She won't suspect anything, she said in the recording. She never does. Just make sure the girl stays dependent. Fear works better than love. My knees buckled. I sat down hard in the chair, the air knocked out of me. My sister lives 3 hours away, I whispered. She visits twice a year. She helped raise Lena after my wife died. She's family. Rashid's voice was barely audible. She's been coming to the house when you're at work. She told me she had your permission. The creak upstairs came again. Closer. Footsteps. Descending. My heart hammered as the study doorway darkened. Dad, Lena's voice called. Why are you home early? I stood on instinct, stepping into the hallway. She stood halfway down the stairs, backpack slung over one shoulder, confusion written all over her face. You missed your stop, I asked, forcing my voice steady. She shook her head. Auntie called. She said you weren't feeling well and asked me to come home. I felt something inside me crack. She said you needed me, Lena added quietly. She said it was important. Behind me, Rashid went completely still. I looked at my daughter, really looked at her. The hesitation in her eyes. The way she watched my face, searching for cues. The way she'd been pulling away from me these past months, closing herself off. How long has she been talking to you like this? I asked gently. Lena frowned. Like what? Like she knows things about our lives she shouldn't, I said. Like she's guiding you. Lena shifted uncomfortably. She just listens. She says you're overwhelmed, that I shouldn't add to your stress. I swallowed hard. Has she ever told you to keep secrets from me? Silence. Then, slowly, Lena nodded. The front door opened behind us. My sister stepped inside, smiling like nothing was wrong. Oh, she said lightly. You're all home. Perfect timing. No guilt, no shock, just control. She looked at Rashid, her smile tightening. You weren't supposed to be involved. Rashid straightened. I work for this family. Not for you. She laughed softly. You work for money. I felt my voice shake. Why? I asked. Why are you doing this? She tilted her head, studying me. Because you're lost, she said. And lost people shouldn't be raising children alone. Lena's hand found mine. My sister noticed, and her smile faded. You've been undermining me, I said. Turning my daughter against me. I've been protecting her, she snapped. From your grief, your weakness. The room felt heavy, suffocating. She's my daughter, I said. Not a project. My sister's eyes hardened. You were never meant to find out this way. Rashid stepped forward. I called him because this was going too far. She looked at him with something close to hatred. You ruined everything. No, Lena said suddenly. We all turned to her. She stood taller than I'd ever seen her, her voice shaking but firm. You did. You made me doubt my own father. My sister stared at her, stunned. I trusted you, Lena continued. But you never asked what I wanted. The silence that followed felt endless. My sister exhaled slowly, her composure slipping for the first time. This isn't over, she said quietly. But I knew it was. Not because she'd leave, not because justice would magically appear, but because trust, real trust, had just shifted back where it belonged. Rashid stood beside us, not as a groundskeeper anymore, but as someone who chose to speak when silence would have been easier. As my sister turned and walked out, the house felt different. Lighter. But the damage lingered. I pulled Lena into my arms, holding her tighter than I had in years. And for the first time since my wife died, I understood something clearly. The greatest betrayals don't come from strangers. They come from the people who know exactly where to stand. So you never see the knife.